Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a tutorial with all the leftover yarn that I have. I'm going to join it to make a short. See the colors? So work with me, pick those leftover yarn that you have, and let's do some work. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for the 1K. Continue subscribing and liking and sharing. To begin with, I'm going to use a 4.5mm hook. Then I'm going to start with this color. So my waist part, I'm going to make a chain that fits around my butt area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make a chain that fits around your hip area. Then I'm going to meet you there. So I'm done with my chain of 110. That is my hip area. So I'm going to join it together. I'm going to insert my hook in the very first loop like this and slip stitch. Like this. So the next step, I'm going to do a double crochet all around one. So look, let me not rush. The very first step, chain 1, 2, 3, which is going to be your first double crochet. Then turn, because I like working from these loops, so turn your work and do double crochet in the next. For those who are not familiar with a double crochet, you wrap your yarn, insert in the loop, pull up the yarn, pass through the very first 2 like this, then into this one too, like all through. That's your double crochet. So do the double crochet all around. Like this. Wrap your yarn, go into the loop, pull up the yarn, go through the first 2 and then through the next 2. Like this. So I'm going to come back when I've completed the whole chain with double crochets. I'm done with my double crochet. So make sure you check to make sure it's not twisted like this. Yeah. So I'm going to do a slip stitch, and like I said, when I'm doing my slip stitch, I always first remove the hook. I turn my work. I turn my work. I first enter the last loop of this very first double crochet. Then enter in this space and then slip stitch through. And then I slip stitch through to join it together. It helps me kill the space. So my next step, I'm going to do the front post, back post stitch. So let's chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This acts like our very first double crochet. Wrap up your yarn, go back in the back loop. Let me do it a bit slowly. I'm going to be crocheting from the back and the front. So this is our double crochet here. Then the next step, we are going to go in the back. We're going to enter from the back space through this and go back and pull up the yarn and do a double crochet like that. Then wrap up your yarn. Instead of doing the same thing that we did in the beginning, this time around we are passing from this space to the front like this and pull up the yarn. Then wrap your yarn, go in from the back and pull the yarn through the back. Then come in this time around, don't pass from the back, come in the front part, pull up the yarn and do a double crochet like this. It's going to make sense in the process. So if you've done the front part this time, the next time you're passing from the back, like we passed from the front like this. Now we are going to use the back part, like enter from the back and pull up the yarn and do a double crochet. Then wrap your yarn, this time enter from the front, pull the yarn, do a double crochet, then the back. You can search on YouTube front post, back post tutorials. You will see how they do it clearly. So we pass from the back. Now wrap your yarn, pass through the front with a double crochet, wrap up your yarn, pass from the back part with a double crochet, then front. You just have to keep switching. If you passed in the front part, next you go in the back, then front and back, to make sure it's like this. So I'm going to show you like a bit more, then I'll join you when I'm done with mine. Then wrap your yarn. This time around we pass in the front. Now we go in the back and pull out the yarn and do a double crochet. Then wrap your yarn, pass in the front, pull up the yarn, double crochet, wrap up your yarn, go back, pull out, up, and do a double crochet. Then wrap your yarn, do front. So it's the front and back post. So I'm going to continue with mine, then I'll join you later with when mine is complete. We are trying to do the waist part of our short, of our booty short. So I've reached the end. You see how it looks? So I'm going to slip stitch in the chain 3 that we did in the beginning. So I'm going to remove my hook, turn my work. I first enter the chain 3 that we did, then enter my hook there and oh sorry, I'm not in the loop. And slip stitch to join it. So this is how it looks. Pretty. I don't want to add the third line. Usually I do when there are 3 rows, but today I want to keep them 2. So after that we're going to chain 1, 2 and sorry. So after that I'm going to chain 1, 2, then turn my work, because I want to use half double crochets to make the bottom. So wrap up your yarn, go into the next loop, your next loop. The light is quite strong, I don't know if you're seeing clearly, but go into the next loop and pull up the yarn and pass through all of it. Like, go wrap up your yarn, go into the next, pull up the yarn and pull through. Wrap your yarn, go into the next, pull up the yarn, pull through. Wrap your yarn, go into the next, pull up the yarn and pull through. It's different from the one we're doing here, because this one you pull through twice, this one you pull through once. Wrap your yarn, go into the next loop, pull through. Wrap your yarn, go into the next, pull through, like this. This is our half double crochets. So wrap your yarn, pull up the yarn, like pull through. Wrap your yarn, pull up the yarn, pull through. So since I told you I'm using yarn in my stash, the leftover yarn, so I'm going to keep doing 3 rows of each, maybe 4. Okay, I'm going to be doing 3 rows to 4 rows of each. I don't want to promise, but for now let's say 3 rows of each. So I'm going to join you later after I'm done with my half double crochets. Then I show you what to do next. So I have reached the end of my first row of half double crochets. After that, I'm going to slip stitch. I turn my work, come in the very first loop that we made and slip stitch through. Yeah, like that. So this is one row. I'm going to do probably 3 more rows. Yeah, 3 more rows. Then I'll get back to you. No, actually. Then I'll switch a color. I got an idea from the IGTV live that I did. So most of you suggested that I put the turquoise green first and then the white, but then another one suggested I put a white row every time before I change color, which I would preferably go with because it will help brighten up the other colors. After doing the slip stitch, we are going to go to our next row where we are going to have to chain 2, which is going to be our first half double crochet. Turn your work, go into the next loop with a half double crochet. So wrap up your yarn, go into the loop, pull up the yarn and pull through. Then wrap your yarn, go into the next loop, pull up the yarn and pull through. Wrap your yarn like this, go into the next loop, pull up the yarn, pull through. So that's what we have to keep doing. So I'm going to do my next rows off camera. I'm going to add 2 more rows off camera, then we can meet when we are changing color. Okay, and for the rows, for the booty bottom, I want to do 9 rows of half double crochet. Then after, we can separate the bottom to create the middle part. So I'm going to join you after I'm done with the 3 rows here, then we fix a new color. So I have made 4 rows of half double crochet, and now I'm going to slip stitch. You can do the other way around, or you can slip stitch if that's what you're used to. Like, you enter in the very first loop of our first double crochet and pull through like that. Then chain 1 and cut the yarn. So this is our first color. The next one, I'm going to use the turquoise blue. So when I'm adding the new color, first turn your work. When I'm adding a new color, I first make a loop. So I'm making a loop. This. Then after, I come on the very first loop where I made a slip stitch. I pass through my hook, then pass it into the loop I've created and pull out. So sometimes when I want to reduce on the whole chaos, I stitch this from the inside. So when I do this, I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and continue with a half double crochet. Like, wrap your yarn, enter in the loop, pull up the yarn and pass through. Then wrap your yarn, enter in the loop, pull up the yarn, pull through, wrap, enter the loop, pull up the yarn, pull through, like this, the way we've just been doing this. So I'm going to continue with this color. My next color, I'm going to put white, so I'm going to continue with this. For these ones, I'm going to put two rows for each, because I want the yellow to be a bit more. And besides, these other yarns, they're not many, they're not much left, I mean. So I'm going to meet you back here, then I do another row, then I'll show you how to attach the other colors. It's all the same thing repeating itself. So I have reached the end of this row. I'm going to come in the 1, 2, come in the second loop and put a slip stitch, then chain 1, 2, turn your work, wrap up your yarn, go in this loop and do a half double crochet. So this is our second color. I'm going to meet you when we are going to attach the white next. That's my colors. I don't know the colors you have in your leftovers. So I've come to the end of my row 6. So I'm going to slip stitch. I'm going to first, I still have one here left. Sorry. So come in the very last loop, put your hook and slip stitch. Then chain 1 and cut the yarn. pull through totally and cut the yarn, not chain one, just pull through and cut the yarn. So these are our colors so far. Well, I still have some. Next we are doing color white. So I'm turning my work because I like working from this part, not this. Then come and make a loop. I told you this is how I like to do it when I'm attaching a new color. Then come in this loop and pass through both and pull up the yarn, then chain 2, 1, 2, then wrap your yarn, go into the next loop with a half double crochet, then wrap your yarn, go in the next loop, pull up the yarn, pull through, the same thing that we did before. So in my opinion, I think white will look really nice when it's a bit more. So I'm going to make 3 rows of white. So I'm continuing with my work. I'm going to meet you when I'm done with the 3 rows. Then we attach color orange. Yeah, orange. I'm done with the white. I'm going to attach the orange. So as always, make a loop, then come in, turn your work, and come in this loop. You can even start from any loop of your choice, and slip stitch 1, 2. That's our first half double crochet. Then continue, pull up the yarn, pull through, go in the next loop, pull up the yarn, pull through. So I'm also going to meet you again after I'm done with my 2 rows of the orange. See, the color blends are so beautiful. See, it's actually coming out really nice. So I am done. I have made 16 rows of half double crochets like this. 3 rows of white, 3 rows of this green, and 2 rows of each of these colors. I'm out of white though, so, and I like using this part where I usually do the joining, the slip stitches, as the back. Then I had to count so that I get equal measurements where I'm going to do the separations, like here and here, and I put my stitch markers. So this part and this part, they are equal. So I'm going to separate from this to make our booty bottom. Okay, let's do our separation. I've removed the stitch marker, which was here, this one, and I enter in the loop. I make a loop with the green yarn, since it's the one we added after the yellow in the beginning. So enter in the loop, pull up the yarn, so after that we are going to do a chain of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then after our chain of 8, we are going to add 2, 1, 2, and then come in the third loop from the hook, 1, 2, where our chain 8 stops. Like we go in that loop for the 8 and then make a half double crochet. Good. Then wrap up your yarn and do half double crochets along this chain. This is not clear. Okay. Yeah. Then when you're done with the chains, we are going to enter in this very loop where we started from. This very one where we started our chain from. So wrap up your yarn, enter in this very loop with a half double crochet. Pull up the yarn and pull through like that. Then continue with half double crochets. So since the yarn is not going to be enough, I'm going to just, and we are doing our booty shorts, so I'm going to just do one row of each color. So I'm going to go until I meet you where we put our stitch marker, this one. So I'll meet you there. So I've reached the stitch marker, so that was doing the separation. So I'm going to remove it like that. Then after, I'm going to do a single crochet on that part. Sorry, needed a tighter one. Like that. Then do chain this time, and I'm going to chain single crochet. Is like my chain 1, so I'm going to add 7 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Then after, since I have to change color, I'm going to turn and first do the half double crochet on this side. So chain 1, 2, this is like our first half double crochet. Go into the third loop from the hook with a half double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Go in the third with a half double crochet. Then continue all the way down. Sorry. Now Then come here where you put your single crochet, put a half double crochet in, then go into the same loop and again put a half double crochet there, like that. So this helps kill the space that creates itself here. Then continue with half double crochets all the way. So I'm going to continue with my half double crochets. I'll meet you back here where we started from. So I'm reaching here where I started from. Let me complete with the half double crochet. Then I'm going to put a single crochet in this loop. Sorry. Okay. Then I enter in this, in here, like I've put the single crochet. Then I'll enter in one of these loops and slip stitch. Then after, we get to cut the yarn. So this is our separation. This is our bottom separation. We are going to join it later. You can either use a slip stitch, you can also use a tapestry needle. So our next color should be white, but I think I'm out of white. So let me first look around. My next color is white and I got the white. So I'm going to attach it. Okay. So make a loop in your white with your white yarn. Make a loop, and this time around I'm going to start from these ends. I'm going to use these edges. So come on the very first loop of this, of your piece, this one, and enter your hook. Let me see, it's this. Enter your hook, then go through the loop that you created and pull through, and then chain 1, 2. That's your first half double crochet. Then and continue with half double crochets. With half double crochets like this. Like that. So we are going to go around with half double crochets. Like that. So you're going to go all around until you complete. I'm going to show you when we reach here, so meet you there. So I've reached where I was supposed to find you. You're going to continue with half double crochets all the way up. So like this. These are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So continue with half double crochets. It's a bit tight here. I like stitching this from the inside to reduce on the mess. So we have 2 to go. No, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a bit tight though. You have to make sure your hook passes through. And finally, this. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. Okay, if you also don't want to cut the yarn, let me not be quick. I can also give you an easier option. You can cut the yarn and start from this side. You can also just, since here we are a bit close, we can decide to chain chain of 4, or you can decide to chain 1, the one I did already, and slip stitch in this very white space. Put a slip stitch, go here, put another slip stitch, go into this, put a slip stitch, and go there, put slip stitch 4 times, and then you turn your work and chain 1, 2. That's like your first half double crochet. Then wrap your yarn like this and go into the next with a half double crochet. And go all the way down. But if you want, you can just cut the yarn, because we can't keep doing slip stitch for the rest of the colors. They'll make this longer than our desired length. The middle part will end up being longer than our desired length. So I'm doing it only for this one. Then the rest I'll just cut the yarn and attach it fresh on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and then I'll meet you when we are attaching a new color, because we are doing the same thing that we did on this row is what we are doing here. We are going to do the half double crochets until this part. So meet you there. So I'm done with color white, you see. I'm going to attach now the orange. So for orange, I'm going to make a loop and then come in the very first loop here, this one. Then go through the orange loop I created, pull out the yarn like this, and make 1, 2, chain of 2. That's our first double crochet. So just like when I'm doing bras, if I want this part not to be bent, or I usually start from the very same loop with a double crochet, a half double crochet, I mean. So after that, sorry, I've made the double crochet, half double crochet. Then wrap up your yarn and continue along with half double crochet all through. So I'm going to join you, like I'm going to do the same thing I'm going to add this up to here, then cut the yarn, join from here, come back to here, then add our final color, which is this green. So I'm going to join you when I'm done attaching both color, the green and the orange. Then I show you the joining part so that you see how your bottom is going to look like. Then after, we can create a string for our waist. So I am done with fixing all the colors there, as you can see, and I have put my stitch marker in the center where I'm going to pass, like where my strings are going to be. So I'm going to use a needle to attach these parts together. So if you want it super clean, I'm really out of yarn, you can do a slip stitch along this place and here to knit it, to make it look neat. Then after, you can stitch together, but me, I am going to do the stitching together without, because I have run out of yarn. So I'm going to do this. But I would advise you first put a slip stitch to clean the edges so that you can be able to have neat work, especially if you are making it for sale. So to me, this one is like a gift to myself. So, and I'm out of thread. So please first do a slip stitch or a single crochet along to clean the edges before you use a needle to join the parts together. I would advise that. I'm doing this because I'm out of yarn completely. So I would advise you first do single crochets or slip stitch along the edges before you join the work together. So I guess the struggle was really real for me here, but so after this, I'm going to do this. Then I cut my yarn, sewing in the edge, then boom. So then after, I'm going to enter this waist. Where is my hook? Okay, so I'm going to come here and just pass through this down a part. Like this. So I'm fixing in my thread so that I have my waist complete. Okay, let me wind up, then I'll show you. You just pass through the waist we created in the beginning. If you want, you can pass up or down. If you have 3, you can use the center. So this is it, our final piece. Thank you for watching.